we have what we have been building for the last 15 years was an SMSC, and then last 2 years have changed the trajectory for us, and we have sort of started building uh, more platforms on top of our SMSC. This platform was in the making for the last 2 years. So what we call as the customer data platform, right? So I think the demo today is for the CDP and the chatbot designer. So I'll start with the CDP first, and then we'll move on to the chatbot designer. So this entire analytics portal is basically responsible for giving you detailed analytics on your messaging, which I think Aravji is already aware of. You get hierarchical analysis at various levels. Like, for example, you can actually look at the data from a customer viewpoint and then keep going, drilling down to the finest levels. You can look at the vendor view or the account manager, geographic view, like country wise, or a mobile network wise, or a sender ID wise, right? And then you also get detailed metrics on the number of messages delivered, failed, then the latency, what time it took for submission, for delivery, right? Fake DLR, if any, domestic percentage, the profit margins, all that. So all the detailed analytics is available in the analytics platform. We also have a default set of reports, like 20 odd reports is what we have provided, right? From which are categorized as traffic reports, financial, quality, geographic, and routing. Right. So this gives you all the metrics on your CDR or your communication messages that you have that are flowing either from the SMSC as SMPP messages, or through APIs to WhatsApp, RCS, Telegram, or other channels, right? So all those are recorded as call detail records or CDR records. And on top of that, you have these default set of reports, and you can also build your custom reports as and when required. Right. So on top of the same platform, what we have done is we have provided a customer data platform. Now imagine you are running an SMSC. Okay. So the SMSC is primarily responsible for moving messages from one point to the other. So you have customers, and then you have suppliers or vendors, right? Who actually give you delivery channels, and then you have customers who are interested in moving those messages to their end customer. So in this case, the SMSC is the product. So you deploy the SMSC and you get that. Then there is a CPaaS, which is basically communication platform as a service, wherein you have omni-channel capability, where you can actually originate a message as an SMPP and then terminate it to a WhatsApp or a Telegram, and so on and so forth. Right now, once you have actually gone beyond the first two layers, which is the SMSC and the CPaaS, right? You are actually running on a lot of data, right? So now imagine there is a store, or there is a merchant who's actually selling some product of his own, right? It could be a garment, it could be a digital product, it could be a physical product, it could be anything that a merchant or a shop owner is selling, or a bigger chain is sort of selling, right? So what they need is, they need some ways to market the data, right? So they actually need to do the right kind of marketing with the right kind of customer segments, right? Now they actually have multiple systems, right? So they have a billing system, they have a CRM system, they have POS integrations, the point of sale integrations, they have IoT integrations coming in, they may have certain digital marketing channels from where data is flowing in, right? So they get data from various sources. Right? The challenge is, how do you aggregate that data, and how do you extract intelligence out of the data, right? So that is where the CDP comes into play. So what is the CDP? CDP is the customer data platform, right? You will get data from disparate sources. You will get a data from an Excel sheet that is being uploaded. You may get data from a CRM system like Shopify, for example, right? Or Microsoft Dynamics, right? A tool, right? Or an e-commerce platform. You could get data from various sources. Now, once that data comes, the headache is, how do you actually make sense of that data, right? So what these guys do is, they have multiple different teams actually aggregating that data, then doing business intelligence analytics on top of that data, and then coming up with a specific cohort or a group of customers that are high value customers, for example, right? You do marketing on them, you are actually able to increase your sales. or there are untapped customers, wherein if you actually target them correctly, you will increase your revenue, right? So there may be various scenarios wherein your customer data is going to be valuable for you. Now, keeping that in mind, so I gave that background for a reason, right? So imagine data is coming from various sources. Now I'm showing you a CDP session. Okay, what you do is you create a CDP session. Let's start a CDP session. Okay, so I just created a session. Now I will assume that I have but whole lot of data that is available with me in the form of Excel sheets or CSV files, or my customer data is residing in different sort of files, right? It could be various unstructured files also. So let's upload some initial version of files. I'll show you the content. I'm just uploading them. So you see that I've uploaded 5 different files: transactions, support data, responses from customers on campaigns run, their demographics of customers, and the engagement. I'll show you the details of every file. Transactions, customer ID, email address, phone number, the transaction when the date of the transaction when they actually bought something, the product, what they bought, the amount of transaction, the category, payment method. Very simple file, right? Now let's go to some other file. Same structure: customer ID, email, phone number, ticket ID. Okay, I raised a ticket, right, for some product for a defective product, for example, in this case, right? Was it resolved? What was the satisfaction score? So this is a support related data that is flowing in from a file. The third is the response. Now you run a campaign. Now, suppose you have run a campaign on a customer base, right? For example, I'm running a campaign in Jakarta for high net individuals, like who are actually earning multi-million dollar salaries, or earning multi-million dollar values from their sales or the business endeavors, right? So in that case, you are running a campaign and the customers are replying or clicking on that campaign. So this is the campaign responses, right? Fourth is the customer demographics. Like for example, this is actually demonstrating an example for a state in India called as Maharashtra, or like across the India, what are the different states and cities that the customers are residing in, and what are their first name, last name, their age, gender, their profile, and the loyalty tier. If the customer is on a loyalty card, like for example, he's a gold tier member or a silver tier member, and so on and so forth. Fifth is in engagements. Now, what you mean by engagement is they are going to your e-commerce site, for example, and they are actually on that site for certain minutes. Like for example, this customer John Doe spent 120 minutes on your site, 45 page views, right? Wish list, items in cart, newsletter subscribe, push notifications. All that information is coming. So you saw all different 5 files were all different, right, from each other, but they had a common thread, which was a customer ID. You could say, okay, it is email address also, or it could be a phone number also. But let's assume that we have a customer ID, which is very important in a CDP context. Okay, so now I have aggregated data. Okay, now you will tell me, this is very easy to do. I will upload my files, and then I'll upload my file into a database, and then I'll actually aggregate the data and run some analytics. I'll hire an analytics guy and do it. It's simple, right? Not a big deal. So the next level of integration that happens is from API sources. Okay, so now I can use a custom template or I can use a custom schema. Let's use a template. So you can see we have ready-made templates for Salesforce, right? Contacts, opportunities, HubSpot, Microsoft Dynamics, Zendesk, customer support, category, website and product analytics, e-commerce, so on and so forth. So we have, like for example, if I go to Shopify, right, the entire Shopify schema can be mapped to our database schema at runtime, right? So I can create an API on the fly. What do you mean by that? Like for example, you have a product that can push data to you via an API, or an IoT device that can push data to you. You can actually create an API on top of your data. So that's the whole point of this entire API section, right? So not only files, but also API sources can be ingested. So this is the first part of the CDP. CDP ka first part is data ingestion. You have actually received data or ingested data into the system. Now imagine you have actually put all the data into a bucket. Right? So it has come and it is sitting in that bucket. Right? Now you are saying, okay, I mixed all different types of flavors into that bucket, but I want to get this specific flavor out of that bucket. How do I do it? Right? For that, before doing that, so once you are pushing data to the bucket, you have to first unify the data. You got data from six different channels or n different channels. I gave you an example of 5 files. It could be 100 different files. Right? Now, what the tool did, it actually mapped all the data columns. So every column that every file had, it actually created that list. Wherever it is possible to deduplicate or create common columns, it created. Like for example, you can see contact number has been created, merged into a single column called as contact number. You can see the name. You can see the name of the column. So in demographics, it was called as mobile number. In response, it was called as phone number, phone, contact number. So it is all merged together into contact number. So let's agree that this is a single column. Okay, approved. You can also see it has given you a data type also. It is a text or a boolean or an integer. Boolean is true false, integer is a number, text is string data, right? So like for example, it also does some fuzzy logic wherein it may be wrong, right? So your interaction is needed. So you'll say, okay, conversion amount and amount, it's saying it is matching, but I'm saying, okay, no, this is wrong, let's reject it. So you can see now that there are two columns which are separate, conversion amount and amount. It has actually forked to two different columns, right? Now let's see email. Email address. Okay, this looks same. Let's agree. Okay, now coming back to the next column, which is customer ID. Customer ID, customer ID, customer ID, customer ID, cust ID. You can see it has actually done a fuzzy logic of mapping it to a unique column. So all of this is equal to customer ID. I say, okay, agreed, but I want to create a unique identifier for a customer, which is the customer ID. I could have chosen an email address or a phone number also, but I have an identifier that says, okay, this is my customer, unique customer. So I'll say, okay, key, and I'll say, okay, accept, done. Last login, last name, last login. No, this is wrong. Reject. Page views and age, wrong. Transaction date, registration date, wrong. Resolution, response, wrong. Right? So now you'll say, okay, there are so many wrong mismatches because this is an automated thing. There are things where it will go wrong. Okay. So that is where we are saying, okay, there is a manual intervention needed one time to create the schema, right? Or the database columns that you have to identify. So you created this. Now the button has been enabled for us. It's saying unify data. Let's say unify. Now, after saying unify, you can see it has created 15 unique records, right? So you can see first, this file had 20 rows, 10, 15, 15, 15, right? So now all of this together is equal to 15 records. Okay. So now at this point, these are the unique columns, 38 columns in all. How many columns we started with? We started with 8 plus 10 plus 11, 11, 20, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Almost 50 columns we started with. Now we have 38 columns. Everything is merged into a database with 15 columns, 15 rows. Okay. Now, what is the use of this data? If I cannot query it, if I cannot do something intelligent with it, okay? So I start with the layman thing, right? So now if I go to a textual query, I'll say, okay, what are my columns? Let's see. 1 is equal to 1 is equal to what this means, because see, this will also need some technical input on the customer side or on the person who's running this entire CDP platform. So 1 is equal to 1 is always true, right? This is correct. This is not false. So 1 is equal to 1, run. It's okay. It's giving you all the records, right? So all the columns are displayed here. You can see this, right? City, registration date, all this data is available with you now. Okay. Now you can do something magical with this, right? Let's say age. You can see it has given you the drop down also. You can select age greater than 32. Okay. Let's say 35. Run. Now you can see all the customers greater than 35 is being presented to us here, right? Now, what this is giving you the power to create a database dynamically for you, which you can use in your campaigns. Okay. Now, if you don't want to do this textual query, you can use a visual builder. Like, for example, age greater than 35, right? Again, even if this is cumbersome, and if, because what we do is we actually sell this, the AI thing, because AI is the next big thing here, right? And it is here to stay. So if we want, what we do is we actually sell it in two different flavors, with the AI and without AI. So wherever we sell it without AI, this AI tab is not available, right? Now, for this demo purpose, I've enabled the AI. So let me go to AI. So now you see these queries. This is not something I have already coded in the program. I have not even written anything here. This is automatically coming up because the AI engine actually looked at your customer data, found something intelligent, and created auto queries for you in plain English. Right? This is the power of NLP and natural language processing and artificial intelligence, wherein now I can do one thing: get me all customers who are older. I am writing in plain English. Okay. Pardon me because this will take some time. This is running on my local instance because the AI instance is something that is running on my Mac. So it takes some time. But when it is production deployed, it should be faster. Okay. So you can see, right? So I asked the engine to return me all the customers who are 35 years, greater than 35 years age. You can see here, none of the customer is less than 35. Although we had 15 records, 15 records all had different age requirements. Now you can see, you actually filtered this entire data set, right? Now I can run a campaign for middle-aged people who I think may be married and having kids. So I can run a campaign on this profile of data, right? So that is the power of the AI thing, wherein if you have a layman who does not know how to actually write queries and do that textual or a visual builder, he can actually talk to the engine in a natural language and render the segment. So the first step was a data ingestion. Second step was data unification. Now we are at the third stage wherein we are actually creating a segment, right? So this is the segment. So we can create a segment after running a query. For example, 35, run. I can save it as a segment, right? Like for example, middle-aged people, right? Now what this does is, let me go to another platform, by the way. Just a sec. Okay, where's my portal? Okay, here. Yeah. Okay, so this is our customer, the CPaaS customer portal. Okay, so now whatever segments that we created here, the segment, right? So imagine you have a big bucket. Out of that bucket, you have actually taken a container and removed some water, right? That water is what is the profile on which you want to run a campaign. Now that campaign you will run in your SMSC or your CPaaS portal, right? So you'll go to the campaign, you'll do a create campaign. It could be email, SMS, RCS, WhatsApp, right? So I'm selecting a template for sending the campaign. It could also write a custom message or a template, right? Now here is where the segments will come. I'm sorry, I don't have an integrated environment where I can show you the actual real flow happening, but the segments that we created earlier will be populating here, right? So you select the segment and then you run the campaign, you finish the campaign, right? So that is how it will be used. Okay. So let me go back to my share. Okay. So this is how you will actually run the campaign, right? Now, after running the campaign, you would be interested in analytics, right? So let me show you some analytics, which I have a pre-populated data. So I have actually uploaded, just a sec. I have uploaded two different sets of files. So in version 1, I uploaded 5 files. In version 2, I uploaded 8 files, right? With again different data, right? There are some new files also, like lifetime value is a new file, right? Support v2, preferences, all these are new files, right? Some are existing files with new records, new columns, for example, right? So all this data is coming to us. You can see the data is also available to see lifetime, right? So this data is available. Now let me go to analytics. I wanted to show you something, right? So this is the overview. We have 23 customers after we ran two different upload sessions. We have 13 files from which the data is coming in. 224 records have come from all the files. If you add all these, it will be 224. The version comparison it is showing you started with 15, added 8 new, and ended up with 23. So we are on a positive growth rate. So I can say, okay, my platform or my business is doing well because now I am 8 customers plus this month or this new session, right? That is what it means. Campaign ROI, we have not run a campaign, so I can't show you that. Go to cohort. This is just the version analysis and the timeline. When did you upload the first version? When did you upload the second version? This is very basic analytics, right? Now let's go to some advanced AI analytics, right? What it says is it has actually looked at your data over two different upload sessions, right? What it's saying is the data completeness is low. Where on these fields, last login, page views, time spent, minutes. So the data completion is low. That means the data is not getting filled for these fields. That means you have to focus on those aspects. The person that your website is not generating enough likes from the people. They are not wanting to stay on your page. Views are not increasing, right? The time spent is decreasing, or it is not improving over time. So that is giving you one metric. Second, it's saying, okay, you have not launched any campaigns yet. You have the data, but why are you not launching the campaigns? Launch campaigns and see the improvement. This is the second one. So third one it's saying is healthy customer growth. So what it is saying is the growth is on track. Focus on acquiring new customers month on month. So that's the overall actionable insights that it is giving you. Health score across customers, it's giving you the risk profiling, whether it's a low risk or a high risk customer, because we have 70% confidence on the customer. It means the customers are good and they are going to be retained. They are long term customers. They are going to be repeat customers. So that's the customer level scoring that we have given. Auto cohorts is something intelligent. Okay. So what it shows is the AI is actually gone and looked at your data and it's saying, okay, focus on these groups of focus areas. Like for example, engagement. Like it's saying, okay, some customers or these number of customers or are occasional. Focus on this set, right? You can see the number is 15 or it's random number because just giving you a suggestion. It does not know how many customers are occasional. It's just a random number for you. Okay, so please don't hold me against the 23 and 15 here and so on and so forth. This is a random number generated by the AI for you, right? So it's saying, okay, look at the occasional customers and see how you can convert them and make them repeat customers. Look at one-time customers. Look at value-based customers, top 25, mid-low, mid-high, page views, completeness of profile, right? Then life cycle, are they loyal or are they new? So accordingly, the AI engine has created auto cohorts. Cohort is nothing but a group or a specific group of a subset of data. growth trends, we don't have we don't have a very big increasing trend. So that's where it's saying, okay, 42% improving data quality at the field level, right? Campaign, we have not run anything. Metrics also, we have not really run anything at the customer level, so we can't actually show any changes to the metrics. Similarly, you also have the event analytics, which will give you the campaign level analytics. If you have a campaign, it will actually give you all these different campaigns to run your queries and get your analysis, campaign conversions, transaction data, for example, the survey feedback, and so on and so forth, right? So this entire thing is what is the CDP, the customer data platform. So it starts with the data ingestion. It could be unstructured data from your files, or structured data from your files, or Google Sheets, or Excel sheets, or CSV files, or it could be from structured data sources like API engines, or existing products like CRM tools, analytics tools, right, or e-commerce tools. And then finally, you unify the data, create a unified schema or a single layout or different columns for your database. And then finally, you segment. Those segments you use for campaigning. After campaigning, whatever feedback loop or whatever responses you get, you again push that same data to this CDP platform and keep enriching this data, so that the merchant or the owner of that business gets value out of the data. Currently, they have all this data sitting in 5, 6 different systems or products or databases. Now, this tool is giving them the power to be able to own and see the value of their own data, which they have not been able to do until now. So that's what the platform or the CDP portal talks about, right? So this CDP tool would be integrated within the CPaaS product or the SMSC product, and it will be available embedded within your the product as well. And this is also multi-tenant aware, so you can actually resell it to your customers to the downwards hierarchy, provided you have about a reseller subscription from us. Okay, so this is the CDP platform. Any questions or any queries you may have, we can take those and then move on to the chatbot. Donal, Nova, Yasin, if you have any questions, or if there are no questions, I can proceed with the next segment.
No question, but I think this CDP platform is used for CRM, right?
Yeah, it's sort of the advanced analytics on top of CRM, correct?
Yeah. So it's useful for enterprise in profiling and segmenting their customers.
Correct.
So this platform can be combined with a CPaaS platform for campaign and sales.
You hit the nail. Okay. This is exactly what you mean by the CDP platform. Exactly what you described is what we are trying to do here.
Okay.
Great understanding, Donald. Okay, so I can move on to the chatbot designer.
Okay.
So what we have been doing building the SMSC platform since the last 15 years now. Okay, and animation, I go back a long way, and we have been building and brainstorming on ways and means to actually come up with new things each and every day, right? And because we are not in the transactional business, we are a product company, and we actually are only valuing the technology side of the story and focusing on that. We always strive to provide our customers with new features and products from time to time, right? So this has been in our minds for a long time, and the vision of creating a universal chatbot framework was always there. So finally, this year in January or Feb, we completed this platform. So what this does is it actually creates a universal chatbot builder designer, right? Wherein you can actually graphically drag and drop logic and build your own chatbot that can be deployed to WhatsApp partners like Interact, Gupshup, and others in India, for example, right? Or Infobip, for example, if they provide WhatsApp APIs. It could be also deployed to Telegram. It could be deployed to RCS platforms, to Instagram, for example, or Messenger. I don't any other API-driven integration like you have WeChat in China or Zelo in Vietnam. Maybe there may be a similar platform in Indonesia. I'm not sure, right? So that's what this platform does, right? So it has the capability to integrate with any backend channel at any point in time, and you build once and deploy anywhere, right? So that's the mantra, right? So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you an example of a customer requirement that came to us. So this is for a dealer who's actually selling BMW cars. He's a BMW dealer having a franchisee in one of the cities in India, and they have a customer base. They have various customer sources, and they are maintaining all their customer records in Google Sheets. Okay, and then what they want is they want to run the campaign on the Google Sheet for all the customers and track the responses in the Google Sheet itself. So imagine this is an application on the cloud without an actual database. For the customer, for the BMW franchisee, they are not building an application. They are just having a sheet, a Google Sheet, which is their database. And the chatbot, they are not actually worried about how the message flow, where it flows, when it flows, how the responses come. They are not worried at all about that. They're just focusing on your business, on their business, right? And leaving the technology to people like you and us, right? So you would be the transactional provider, and we are the technology provider, right? So in that case, you have the platform, you can do it yourself, or we can help you build a chatbot for any custom workflow as well. So now let's look at the workflow first. Okay, I'll edit. It's a huge workflow, by the way. So I'll just show you the layout on the left. There's a main flow, right? You can schedule reminders at 30 minutes, 24 hours. You can actually hand off, or you can actually at any point of time, the chatbot can say, okay, this is not something that I am capable of doing or responding. I want a human to intervene. So that's the human handoff flow. You can see there are various sections: contact update, scheduled today, calls, missed call, scheduled today, missed call connect, missed call schedules, follow-ups, follow-up today, finance, service, right? Test drive, follow-up tomorrow, welcome group, various sections, right? Now this workflow itself is huge. Okay. You see, there are multiple steps in it, right? Now, if I have to run it for you, I'll just show you one node and then we can actually move with that. So let's go to compliance. Says, okay, step ID is compliance, text. This is what you show the user when he actually interacts with your chatbot. Next step is welcome. Welcome. Let's go to welcome. Okay, welcome step. It's button. There are buttons here. New cars, other inquiries, connect me to an advisor, right? So there are three buttons, and every button has a next step, right? Okay, so that's the entire flow. Now let me run it for you. I'll do a preview. Let's say, hi. Chatbot says new other inquiries and connect me to an advisor. New cars. Explore BMW models, XUVs. I want to buy 1 to 3 months. What is the segment? Entry luxury. Update my contact details. Full name. Number. City. Say Jakarta. Okay, so this completes the flow, right? So if you actually look at what we did, we actually did a graph or a graphical layout for all the steps, and it rendered it for us. Okay, now you will tell me, okay, if I want to integrate it into a website, for example, we have that. What we do is we first create an API key, generate. Okay, great. Now the API is created. Now I did a preview in the earlier session. Now I'll do a test. When you do test, it shows me a widget. This widget, the code for this, to any developer or the website integrator, and they can actually integrate this widget in their. This is how it looks, right? So it's continuing from a previous session, for example. Same. The same flow runs here as well, but this can be integrated into a widget. You can actually change the language if you want. Indonesia is, I don't know. Indonesia is what language? I forgot. I spent 3 months in Indonesia, by the way, working for a telecom company in Jakarta. So I've been there. Lovely city. Bahasa. Yeah, I remember it correctly. Okay, so you can actually have it in a custom language also, on a local in a local dialect also. The internationalization is always there. You can actually change languages as well if you wanted to. You can actually look at the conversations that we had previously, the history of all the conversation that we may had. Right? You can actually look at the analytics for the chatbot, right? And then this is the human handoff flow, wherein the agents can also log in to the session and actually interact with the customer directly using a human handoff flow. And the most important, you can deploy it to these channels. These are the integrations that we have already ready. We can do Telegram. We can do Telegram is a different flow because Telegram needs the Telegram customer ID. It is not based on the mobile number, so that's a little bit tricky. So Telegram, we can do we do an RCS integration with one of the telecom providers in India. So the similar flows are available for all RCS vendors globally. Interact is a global vendor of WhatsApp. We can do directly meta integrations with WhatsApp if required, or WhatsApp flows. We can do Instagram, DM, Messenger. Instagram, DM, and Messenger are still to be validated and tested. We have the integrations ready, but we have not really validated and tested them in production yet. And we could also do a custom API whenever required. So if I open this, these are fields that you need to go live. This is a callback that you register in your embedded sign up in WhatsApp, so that the webhook can be registered, right? So this is how the entire universal chatbot can be deployed. You subscribe, you have our Maverick platform with you, wherein we expose APIs. So this universal chatbot can also be deployed as on SMS, because you just need a two-way long code number, and the API integration with the operator. And with the help of that, you could actually run the entire chatbot flow on the SMS as well. So that's the USP of the platform. It can actually run on any channel, be it WhatsApp, API, Zelo. We've done Zelo integrations also. So Vietnam, we can actually deploy whenever needed. China, we have not done any WeChat integrations yet. So I'm not sure what works in Indonesia apart from WhatsApp. But yeah, but you get the gist of what we are trying to say, right? The other aspect of what we have, the capability, right, is you could actually show carousels or audio files or video files. You can actually accept audio or video from the user. You could actually do a AI response, right? So you can actually at any given point of time, you can say, okay, at this point in time, hand it off to AI so that the AI can take over and answer. So even that is possible, right? Then there is something called a sheet read. You can actually read from a Google Sheet and maintain the database directly in Google Docs directly. So even that is possible, right? We also are building a local database capability. So a dynamic database will be created for you based on your sheet, and then your customer chatbot responses will be managed in the local database. If you don't want to maintain the Excel sheet or the Google Sheet, even that is possible, right? So that's the capability of the entire chatbot flow.